cover those later with you. So the main focus of my talk today is in the advent of a quantum computer, what would this quantum computer do to crypto technologies as we know them today? Let me start by introducing what is the science of cryptography. Kryptos in Greek means hidden or a secret, meaning that the usage of cryptography is to pass a message from Alice to Bob, a message that we know as a plain text, for example, hello, and doing a certain type of mathematical computation over this message hello using a secret key in order to pass this message in a hidden format so that if we have a malicious person or an eavesdropper on the line, this eavesdropper would not be able to recover the message, neither recover the secret key that is used to transport the message from Alice to Bob. So this is the main essence of cryptography. Cryptography is not new. There is a very big historical background of that. It started with the Caesar ciphers, which were a simple substitution of one letter with another in the alphabet. That started years ago. It was followed by the major Enigma machine. I'm sure all of you know about the Enigma machine, which is also a sort of substitution of letters in the alphabet. This was more in the classical time. Then in the computer area, these are the crypto algorithms that we have that most of us know about. Either in the symmetric side, which all of you might have known of DES, triple DES, AES, on the symmetric side. And then on the asymmetric side or public key crypto, we have Diffie-Hellman, we have RSA, we have ECC, and other algorithms that came that are prior to that. Now, what will happen in the quantum computer area? We heard a lot from Jose Ignacio about how the quantum technologies are evolving, what is the threat of quantum technologies in terms of increased computations. So what will happen, and I will explain this in a bit more detail later on, is that we will be in need of new crypto algorithms, especially on the public key side. Those crypto algorithms haven't been anchored yet. There are competitions that are happening worldwide, that the aim of them is to come up with the candidates that we can say these are the standards that we'll be using going forward for encryption and for digital signatures. Crypto is not used in the blind. You use it in the context of a process, and this is what we call a crypto protocol. So in order to be able to achieve the main anchors of security, which are confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, we have to use crypto algorithm in a concentrated way or in a form of a protocol. And the anchors of this would be to use crypto algorithms or ciphers in order to enable message confidentiality so that nobody else can know what I'm saying to the person I'm encrypting the message to. Message integrity, this means that when the message is being passed on the line from Alice to Bob, nobody actually tampers with the bits of that message, and then that we ensure the integrity of the message. And then finally, when I am talking to someone, that someone should be able to, cryptographically speaking, be able to authenticate me. And then if I sign a message myself to that other person, he should be able to be sure that it is me who signed the message, and this is what we mean by non-repudiation property of crypto algorithms. Protocols have main building blocks, as I mentioned, and these are the crypto primitives. Ciphers are used to ensure data confidentiality. Hash functions and message authentication codes are used for data integrity, and then we have other functions that all of them compose the crypto primitives. Crypto is, we can divide it into two parts, and the reason I'm presenting that is because this part is very relevant to speak about crypto in the quantum era. So we have the symmetric crypto. The symmetric crypto means that when Alice wants to talk to Bob, both of them share the key already, so there is only one key. It's called the symmetric key. Alice uses that Alice uses that key in order to encrypt a message so that when Bob receives the encrypted message, he has the key, the same key is used to decrypt a specific message. In the case of asymmetric crypto or public key crypto, known otherwise, both of them, they have a pair of keys, one public key and one private key. When Alice wants to talk to Bob, she has access to the public key of Bob, which is known. She encrypts the message with Bob's public key, and then Bob uses his private key, which corresponds to that public key, and then he decrypts the message. Same for the digital signatures. So if you think about it as the digital equivalent of analog signatures, by having a public-private key pair that Bob knows, Bob can know that, cryptographically speaking, he can verify that Alice sent him a digitally signed message by using the public key in order to verify the signature of Alice. So all of these concepts are used today in they are the essence of information security. So today, the way we speak, what you have in your application, on your WhatsApp, in your PGP, and all of your encrypted or secure information, cryptography is at the core of it. And imagine what will happen that if we have a quantum computer which is able to break some of the mathematical properties of those crypto algorithms that we know today. Imagine that what will happen in the era of quantum computer when you have active attacks that are being launched by a quantum computer on the wire, or even passive attacks that after 30 years from encrypting very sensitive information that is stored, what will happen actually when a quantum computer would be able to break some of those mathematical properties, and then everything can go in the public, so in plain text. And Jose Ignacio said that cryptographers should not worry about the threat of quantum computers today. And I would actually make the point that for very sensitive information, for government information that is stored in archives, we should worry about quantum computers because information is kept for 30, 50, even more years. And then when a quantum computer is out, it will be able to decrypt information from 30 or 50 years back. So the point is, today, if you see what's happening in the US with the NIST competition and what NSA is advocating, it is actually to start looking at the threat of quantum computers, which don't exist yet, on the information that is stored today. And governments are moving into using post-quantum crypto or quantum-resistant algorithms in order to encrypt information as of today. So, what is post-quantum cryptography, or what is quantum-resistant cryptography? I will have to repeat some of the material from Jose Ignacio's presentation. I'm not as good as him in explaining this, but very, very, very simply put, today in our classic computation, a bit is either 0 or 1. And as we saw before in great detail, a qubit is really the equivalent of a classical bit, but it is a coherent superposition of two states, be it a spin up or a spin down of an electron, be it the polarization of photons that Jose Ignacio spoke about. So as we see, this superposition of two states actually can allow you multiple states of that qubit, and then that translated into a much higher flops that can be executed, and that directly translates into much, much powerful computations that we can have using quantum computers. I think for 53 qubit, it was around 10,000 terabytes. This means that it's like in the thousands and then thousands and even more of teraflops. And what comes to mind, I'm sure, is that all of these mathematical problems that we have today, some of them are quasi-NP complete, may be able to be broken by quantum computers. And this may is actually for sure when Shor came up as a quantum algorithm and broke the two properties or the two actually principles of public key crypto, which is integer factorization in RSA and then discrete log in ECC. So let me stop here and then talk about what using quantum in the context of crypto means, and then using crypto in the context of quantum means. There are two things that I would like to distinguish. The first one is, can we use quantum computers in order to enable crypto to be done better, which you see actually on the right-hand side of the slide. And it is using quantum mechanics for crypto protocols. And the second principle is, how secure are our current crypto algorithm against the threat of quantum computers? Let's tackle the first one first. So quantum protocols, or what you hear about what they say, quantum communication or quantum key distribution, the properties of that can be used in order to transmit keys. It's not about transmitting a message. We use quantum channels in order to transmit keys, and then once those keys are transmitted, we can use the symmetric crypto as we know it today in order to encrypt messages. And the reason why this is feasible is because of the basics of actually quantum physics, is that if quantum bits in their states and the superposition of the states are being transmitted from point A to point B, they are eavesdropped upon. Basically, the state is perturbed, and then the key is not the same between A and B, and then they simply discard the key. So the transmission of the key is possible over the quantum channel. But the main problem today that cryptographers are looking at are because of two quantum algorithms, and mainly because of the first one, which is the Shor algorithm, which states that integer factorization and discrete logarithm moves from a quasi-NP-complete problem in the context of classical computers to actually a problem that can be solved in polynomial time in the advent of quantum computers. So what this means is that all of the algorithms that we use today, in order to exchange keys, in order to generate digital signatures, I need water. This means that all of these algorithms, the RSA, Diffie-Hellman, and ECC, will be broken with the advent of quantum computers. The second algorithm, which is the Grover search algorithm, states that for the symmetric key crypto today, the strength will be reduced by half when we have a quantum computer handling that. New studies showed actually that it's not really that we need to double the key size. It will be sufficient to increase the key size by 50 to 70%. So, again, do we need to worry about this today? Quantum computers that are powerful enough to break RSA don't exist yet. Yes, Google showed quantum supremacy using a 53-qubit machine by actually generating random numbers that we cannot prove the randomness on a classical computer, but this is not a real threat for crypto as of today. Do we need to worry about it as security professionals and as cryptographers? Yes. And this is for the reason that I mentioned before, is that we store sensitive information for 30, 50 years, and then at that point, I mean, most likely, as Jose Ignacio was saying, is that did we know that a 53-qubit machine would exist in 2019? Most probably not. Do we foresee when a 2,000 or more than 2,000 qubit machine will exist in 5 years, and 10 years, and 20 years? Most likely, yes. And hence, we need to start worrying today about finding crypto algorithms that are resistant to quantum attacks. So symmetric crypto is not really the main focus of cryptographers today. It's more about the public key crypto or asymmetric crypto that has been on the mind of large standardization bodies and government agencies. And that's why NIST in early 2016, they launched a call for the submission of post-quantum crypto in the hope of standardizing the crypto algorithms that will be used and that are supposed to be resistant to quantum attacks. The competition ended in 2017. They already filtered candidates in 2017 and in August 2019, a few months ago in Santa Barbara. And then as we saw before, 26 algorithms have survived so far. So the call was for submission for algorithms for digital signatures, for key exchange, and in the context of post-quantum crypto, we call it CAM, or the key encapsulation mechanisms, and for public key encryption. As I mentioned before, the attack on public key crypto that we know today is because the fundamental mathematical problems are broken by a quantum computer, and then hence in the attempt to find new algorithms or new public key algorithms that are resistant to quantum computers, basically what we need to do is that we need to find new mathematical structures or new mathematical methods in order to be able to find post-quantum algorithms that will not be broken by the quantum computer. Today there are 5 schools of thought. The first 3 that you see are the ones that are most common or that actually the most popular, and then there are attempts to find algorithm around the last 2. The first one is the lattice-based crypto. Basically, it revolves around 3 mathematical problems. The first one is the shortest vector problem. The second one is the shortest integer solution, and the last one is learning with errors. Lattice-based algorithms that have proposed are good for encryption, signature, and key exchange. So basically the performance that we obtained on classical computers shows that they are good for that. The second one, which exists, actually Macallis exists since 40 years ago, it's based on coding theory. The keys are very big, so as you can imagine, there are lots of optimization that need to be done, especially that we need to wrap all of this within a key management infrastructure as well. But the performance of code-based crypto has been very good, shown very good for the encryption, The third one is hash-based signatures. This one, it uses hash functions as we know them today. So it actually relies on the properties of hash functions, and the best attack on those, as mentioned before, is what Grover showed in the Grover search algorithm. And the way they do it is that they wrap hash function either in a one-time signature structure, or they use it in the context of a hash tree or a hypertree. Then we have the multivariate polynomial cryptography. It's based on solving systems or multivariate polynomials, and then many schemes that have been submitted in the competition or outside the competition have been broken. And the last one is an adaptation of elliptic curve cryptography to post-quantum crypto. It's an isogeny problem of super singular curves, and then the digital signature of it, SIDH, actually no, that's the key exchange of it. SIDH has been broken in Asia Crypt 2016, and there were many attempts of publication after that in order to adjust the algorithm. Here, this is a table that actually shows the evolution of post-quantum crypto algorithm. Since the submission between 2016 and 2017, now there were 64 algorithms submitted, 26 of them survived the second round, and then those algorithms are being under a lot of scrutiny worldwide with cryptographers, cryptanalysts that are either trying to show that they will survive and then those could make it to the standards, or that actually are trying to break the security both from a classical sense and a quantum sense. Today, our team, for example, our group, is working on the implementation, is working on the optimization, is working on proving certain attacks against them. But as of today, we don't know which one will survive to be the standard for post-quantum crypto. And then for all we know, none of them would survive. And for all we know, the mathematical properties underlying those actually are not quantum proof. But this is basically the underlying effort through NIST that is going in order to find the next post-quantum algorithm. I still have 9 minutes. So I'll just quickly go through the first 3 methods that are being proposed as for post-quantum crypto. The first one is lattice-based crypto, where the properties that come with learning with errors is actually what makes it a hard problem to be solved even by quantum computers. And basically what it revolves around finding an n-dimensional secret S when we have a matrix of m times n matrix with a source noise that is randomly distributed. So in order to be able to recover S by having the output of the AS plus E, this is a hard problem, and this is the property that is expected to be quantum proof, or that is expected to make it hard to break by quantum computers. Most of the candidates that you see survived in the competition are based on lattices. You may recognize some of these names, especially New Hope, Kyber, Entro, and Entro Prime. These, again, are going through a scrutiny, and actually these ones are ones of the most studied algorithms from the submission to NIST and even before the submission to NIST. And then they may make it to the standards, they may make it to the standards, only time will tell. Code-based crypto is a very well-studied problem since 40 years. It's based on on coding theory. So basically the way it works, the encoding with the public key is fast. When the encryption happens, errors are added, and then by the addition of the errors, unless we have the precise private key, recovering the key from the encryption or from the encoded result makes it the hard problem, and this is the property that is supposed to be the quantum resistant property. You may recognize some of those schemes. Macallis is the most famous one. Rollo is actually the most studied one that survived in the second round of the NIST competition. And Rancula is actually a code-based algorithm that has been proposed by our internal team that is led by Mark, who you will be hearing from him very soon. The last one is hash-based crypto. As I mentioned, hash-basSH crypto uses as the building block or the base block hash functions as they are today. So they use SHA-2, SHA-3, Blake, and other hash functions that have been developed. We have developed our own version of a hash function and actually and de facto of a hash-based digital signature algorithm. The best known attacks against them, as I mentioned, since it is a symmetric key cipher, the best known attack against it is the Grover search algorithm. And then to make it quantum resistant, what is needed is either to double the key size or to increase, based on latest studies, the key size by 50 to 70%. Sphinx is the one that survived, and Picnic are the ones that survived in the second round of the post-quantum competition, and another one that is very famous and then used in the tree structure is XMSS and XMSS-empty. And I think I will call it a wrap for my talk and try to answer your questions early.
Thank you, Najwa.
Thank you.
We'll go to the Slido questions right away to make sure.
Sure. Are we or will we able to prove that a post-quantum encryption algorithm is unbreakable? So actually this is a good question. And I answered it actually over my talk. So in each of the algorithm that I highlighted the properties that are actually supposed to be the ones that are hard problems or quasi-NP problems to solve, and these are the properties that will make those algorithms quantum resistant or post-quantum resistant. Today, as the algorithms are being developed, the security level on classical computers and on quantum computers are being studied, and then this is the proof that is happening today on the unbreakability factor of post-quantum crypto algorithms. I would say all of this, with the exception of hash-based signatures, where the property of post-quantum resistant comes from the fact that they use symmetric hash functions, to which Grover algorithm applies in this case. I think the second question is for you more than for me. Is Moore's law expected to apply to the progress of quantum computing? I guess, yeah, but. Except for TII, the research on the NIST competition is performed only by academia or also by private or commercial institutions. The research on the NIST competition, I'm assuming whoever asked means basically the implementation, the analysis of the security of the algorithms, etc. No, it is being done by universities, by research labs, and by private commercial, well, it's like more research labs. And even the submission, if I'm not mistaken, and Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, the submissions is coming from academic universities, academic labs, and also from big institutions and private institutions. Are there any algorithms which have been broken using quantum computing? I mean, the Shor algorithm is the first algorithm that I presented. The two algorithms that I presented are the ones relevant to crypto. Shor algorithm shows that discrete algorithm, logarithm, and integer factorization are broken by quantum computing, and then quantum computers, Jose Ignacio went through the explanation of that. And if I'm not mistaken, there are 52 algorithms that are supposed to be quantum algorithms, and then including our research center and other research center, they are looking into the next, or what is after those 52 algorithms in order to prove the computational supremacy or the supremacy of quantum computers.
A big applause for Najwa Aaraj.
Thank you.